Let's eat.
Welcome back and welcome to this channel if you're new. Uh, I'm going to reply or respond to a comment by Hersley, and this is what Hersley said. You guys really believe people are that stupid? What was Uriah Smith defending then in his pamphlet? Oh, by the way, Hersley is commenting on the video that I was reacting to a video by ADL, Advent Defense League. The topic was, the question of the topic is, was Ellen White racist? You know, that famous statement. She said that there was an amalgamation of man and beast. And many think that Ellen White meant that man, human beings, and animals, they they came together, you know, and make babies. They breed it together and they amalgamated. Okay, so that's what many understand what Ellen White is saying, but it is a wrong understanding, and we will get to that. But first, let's read Hersley's comment. I start again. You guys really believe people are that stupid? No, we don't think people are stupid. Uh, we don't make videos thinking that people are stupid. We make videos thinking people will get it and understand it clearly and share it with others. That is why we make these videos to share the truth. The Adventist message is under attack. Critics will try and make us look like we cannot be trusted. The Adventist message is something that you should not listen to. Do not even give us a chance. That is what the critics are telling you guys. Don't give this SDAs a chance to share or to preach their gospel. We make videos to preach the everlasting gospel of Revelation chapter 14, the message right before the second coming, the final message for the world, for everyone, Christians and non-Christians, SDAs and non-SDAs. The three angels message is for everyone worldwide. Every individual needs to hear. Okay, now let's go to his comment. You guys really believe people are that stupid? What was Uriah Smith defending in his pamphlet? Okay, Uriah Smith defended Ellen White's statement by confirming that there was amalgamation between man and beast. Oh, by the way, if you have not seen ADO's video on this, you should watch it. They explain it well. They explain it better than I can. Okay, but I'm just gonna focus on Uriah Smith's pamphlet, according to Hersley. Okay, so let me continue again. Uriah Smith defended her statement by confirming that there was amalgamation between man and beast. You all need to be honest and truthful. So we are trying to be as honest and as truthful as we can be. Okay, so SDAs are experts in calling out other denominations and their leaders for what they perceive to be false and anti-biblical. But when it comes to themselves, they go into a ridiculous defense mode where they do all kinds of gymnastics to defend Ellen White and her madness. She was racist, and she was not. And you will see. We're just going to touch on Uriah Smith's letter. She was racist, be honest. What I'm seeing a lot of is hypocrisy. Tell the truth, don't bend it, because denying facts don't ever make them go away. Before I respond to your comment, let's watch this video from Answering Adventism, Miles, EJ Thunder, Pastor Thunder, and CMB. Now they're gonna talk about Uriah Smith's letter We listen to them, and then I'll read Uriah Smith's letter to you, and we'll see if Uriah Smith was confirming that Ellen White did really say that man was amalgamating with animals and making man animal babies. Okay, so let's go to that video.
Here we go back to the slides. Okay, so this is Uriah Smith's defense, and again, it was published in the Review and Herald, and you can see the date at the bottom. And here it says, "Quote: Whatever race of men we may take, Bushmen, Hottentots, Patagonians, or any class of people, however low they may apparently be in the scale of humanity, which we'll talk about that later, their mental capacities are in every instance the basis on which we are to work, and which we determine whether they are subjects of moral government or not. Then what about all this to do over the charge, which is in itself false, that the visions teach that the Negro is not a human being? What does it amount to? It is simply an effort to create prejudice in the minds of the people, unworthy anyone who makes any pretension to being a Christian or even a gentleman." This is Uriah Smith's part of his answer anyway to deal with it, right? So Ellen White was right, and if we look at the Bushmen, the Hottentots, and Patagonians, however low they may be, right, we can still work with them because they might have some of Adam's blood. That's coming later. Okay. And just so we're clear, when we talk about these people groups, we're talking about the Bushmen or the San people in Southern Africa. Okay, they're actually people, not animals. Okay, Hottentots, aka the Khoikhoi people, who also live very close to the Sans. Right. We have the Patagonians, aka the Tehuelches, right? Tehuelches, that's it. Native South American people group. Okay, so they're darker skinned people, and if you notice, all in common, again, they're darker skinned or black people. And
If you notice, CMB only quoted the last part of the letter from Uriah Smith. And by the way, Uriah Smith was not defending Ellen White. Was that saying Ellen White did say that man and animal amalgamated together. They breeded with each other. Uriah Smith is actually objecting to someone. Someone came and said that, hey, Ellen White said that animal and human beings they came together, they fused. He was actually saying no, humans and animals did not come together. Look, look, look. Now CMB read the last part, but he did not read the whole letter. He did not start from the top. Okay? In order to understand what someone is saying, you got to read the whole context. Because if you take something out of context, then that's a pretext. And remember, context is king. Okay, so let me start from the top. This is what Uriah Smith wrote. The visions teach, the visions of Ellen White, the visions talking about the amalgamation of man and beast, right? Noah's time, the antediluvians, that vision. The visions teach, says the objector, okay, that the Negro race is not human. Okay, it's not Uriah Smith. There's an objector saying that Ellen White's vision teaches that the Negro race is not human, meaning it's mixed human and animal. So, why deny it? They do not so teach. So, Uriah Smith is saying, no, that is not what Ellen White teaches. She does not teach that the Negro race is not human. That's what Uriah Smith said. Look what he said. Mark the language. Since the flood, there has been amalgamation of man and beast, as may be seen in the almost endless varieties of species of animals and in certain races of men. Okay? So, what Uriah Smith is saying here is that the amalgamation was happening between animal and animal, and the amalgamation of man and man. Different races of man amalgamation coming together, and I guess say different species of animals, certain animals coming together. That's the amalgamation that is taking place. So let me continue. This view was given for the purpose of illustrating the deep corruption and crime into which the race fell. What race? Remember, there was two sides of the humanity. There's the side of Seth, and then there's the line of Cain. Seth's line carried the faith of Adam. Cain left the faith, and he has another kind of religion. So what Uriah Smith is saying here is that these two races, Seth's line and Cain's line, amalgamated together, and as a result, corruption and crime took over everywhere. Okay, let me read that. This view was given for the purpose of illustrating the deep corruption and crime into which the race fell, even within a few years after the flood, that signal manifestation of God's wrath against human wickedness. There was amalgamation, and the effect is still visible in certain races of men, right? Intermarrying one another, human beings coming together, amalgamating together, fusing together. Okay, like what the Bible say, what Paul said. Paul said, right, light and darkness cannot come together, right? So be careful who you marry. Don't marry the wrong person. You guys gotta be of the same faith, right? It's safer, it's better for the family. So let me continue. Mark those, when he said mark, he's saying pay attention. Pay attention. Those expecting the animals upon whom the effects of this work are visible are called by the vision men. Now we have that ever supposed that anybody that was called a man was considered a human being. The vision speaks of all these classes as races of men. Okay? Races of men. Yet, in the face of this plain declaration, they foolishly assert that the visions teach that some men are not human beings. Okay? So, Uriah Smith is clearly against the idea of those objectors saying that Ellen White said that human beings, some races of men are not human beings. He's against it. Okay, we gotta know why. What's the background of this letter? Were they dealing with slavery in those times, discrimination in those times? Right? Remember, the blacks were not treated like human in the past, and no equality. If they did, oh, but does anyone deny the general statement contained in the extract given above? They do not. If they did, they could easily be silenced by a reference to such cases as the wild Bushmen of Africa, some tribes of Hottentots, and perhaps the Digger Indians of our own country, etc. Moreover, naturalists affirm that the line of demarcation between the human and animal races is lost in confusion. It is impossible, as they affirm, to tell just where the human ends and the animal begins. Can we suppose that this was ordained of God in the beginning? Rather, has not sin marred the boundaries of these two kingdoms? But, says the objector, Paul says that God hath made one blood all nations of men for to dwell on all face of the earth. And they add, which shall we believe, Paul or Ellen White? You need not believe Ellen White in order to believe Paul. for there is no contradiction between them. Okay? Ellen White does not teach that there are some human races that are not human. Paul said, God made of one blood all nations. We all came from one human being, okay, or two, Adam and Eve, right? And there is no one in any human race that came from monkeys. Ellen White teach the same thing. That is what Uriah Smith is saying. Paul and Ellen White are, there's no contradiction between them. Paul's language will apply to all classes of men who have any of the original Adamic blood in their veins, and that there are any who have not this. Okay, everyone came from Adam. And that is what Ellen White said as well. That's what Ellen White teach. Ellen White does not teach that the Negro race is not human. For Uriah Smith says we deny that teaching, that false accusation. Uriah Smith, again at the beginning, he said that the visions of Ellen White do not teach that the Negro race is not human. So let me continue down here. All classes of men who have any of the original Adamic blood in their veins, and that there are any who have not this, is not taught by the visions, nor claimed by anyone. But for this text to weigh anything in favor of the objector, he must take the ground that God made every particle of blood that exists in any human being. Is this so? Then God made all the scrofulous, leprous, or syphilitic blood that courses in the worst transgressor's vein. From any view which leads to such a blasphemous conclusion, we prefer to be excused. But what has the ancient sin of amalgamation do with any race or people at the present time? Are they in any way responsible or to be held accountable for it? Not at all. Has anyone a right to try to use it to their prejudice? By no means. The fact is mentioned simply to show how soon men relapse into wickedness, and to what degree. But we are to take all races and people as we find them, and those who manifest sufficient powers of mind to show that they are moral and accountable beings. Now, here Uriah Smith is touching on the mind of these different races. Okay? But we are to take all races and people as we find them, and those who manifest sufficient powers of mind to show that they are moral and accountable beings are of course to be esteemed as objects of regard and philanthropic effort. We are bound to labor so far as in our power for the improvement of their mental and moral powers. Okay, mental, moral, and physical condition. Whatever race of men we may take, Bushmen, Hottentots, Patagonians, or any class of people, however low they may apparently be in the scale of humanity, what he meant is low in intelligence, right? Less intelligence, less knowledge. So it's just like what Uriah Smith is saying here. There are many people around the world who their knowledge is low, their intelligence is low, their mental, moral, and physical condition, they are low. Okay, he's not saying they are low, they are not human. They are half-breeds. They are dogs and human, or monkeys and human, that were their ancestors came together, and the monkey and the person, man, came together and made this other race. No. That is not what he's saying. He's saying we need to improve their mental, moral, and physical condition. That is what Uriah Smith is talking about. The Bushmen, Hottentots, Patagonians, or any class of people, we need to give them education. That is what he's saying. However low they may apparently be in the scale of humanity, we need to meet them where they are and teach them. Their mental capabilities are in every instance the basis on which we are to work, and by which we determine whether they are subjects of moral government or not. Then what about all this ado over the charge? What charge? Well, the charge of people saying that Ellen White said that humans and animals amalgamated. Okay, what about that charge? Which is itself false. Which is itself false. That charge about Negroes being a race that is not human is false. That is what Uriah Smith said. The divisions teach that the Negro is not a human being. What does it amount to? It is simply an effort to create prejudice in the minds of the people. See, Ellen White said Negroes are not human. That's why these Negroes should be treated like low, right? They are not human. They are lower than humans. But Uriah Smith, Ellen White, is fighting against this. They say, hell no. No way. We are going to educate them because they are humans just like us, right? It is simply an effort to create prejudice in the minds of the people, unworthy anyone who makes any pretensions to being a Christian or even a gentleman. No Christian will look at anyone else and say, you are not human. You came from monkeys, right? That's why I'm not an evolutionist. I do not believe in evolution. We did not come from monkeys. Ellen White does not believe in evolution. She is against evolution. Read it. Go to her books. Read them. Now, context is king. I think that's the lesson here. Context is king. Now, Hursley, next time you're going to make that kind of comment, make sure you read the context, okay? Don't just listen to what he and she said, okay? Because they can take something out of context and make something out of that, and then make an argument out of that false foundation. So, like you said, tell the truth. Don't bend the truth, because denying facts don't ever make them go away. We are not denying anything. We are just telling the truth because why? It's safer to tell the truth because the truth does not change. The story does not change. But when we lie, we're going to have to keep on lying and keep on changing the story. Okay, so, in a way, thank you, Hursley, for that comment because it gave birth to this video. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Leave a comment so that I can respond to it. Okay? And thank you for all the encouragements and the blessings. Thank you guys. And by the way, watch ADL on this topic. Was Ellen White racist? Check out their video. It's a blessing. Now, see you until next time. Okay? Peace and God bless.